name is David Earls and welcome to GameVine. And today we're going to take a small look at a game called Love Letter. Love Letter came out in 2012 and is designed by Sanjay Kanai. It is the fourth game in the Tempest universe, which is produced by A.E.G. Now, the game only takes about 15 minutes, but if you know what you're doing, you can get games out even faster. In an earlier game in the Tempest series, the Queen got arrested. We fast forward to present day, or to Love Letter, and the main protagonist in this game is the princess. Now the princess is sad, of course. Her mother got arrested and is rotting in a dungeon cell. But we, as players, are going to be portraying suitors. We're going to try to cheer the princess up. How do we do this, you ask? Well, we're going to try to elegantly write our love letters and get them to the princess through different people that are closest to her. If we do this enough, the princess will be happy, and then she will marry us, and then we all will be happy. And who cares about that queen rotting in that dark, damp dungeon cell, right? Yeah. Let's get to the components of the game, and I'll show you some of the special effects all the roles have in the game. And here we go. I just want to give you a simple look at the setup that I have here. This game's only 16 cards and a few bits and pieces, but I mean, there was a lot of care given in this game. The art is beautiful, and I was able to do a display with minimal pieces, just like this. So I just wanted to give a simple view of how I had it set up when I was at the table, and now let me go through each card individually. Okay everyone, so you've seen the setup of the components. These are the actual components of the game. And the game is comprised of a 16 card player deck here, and then it has 4 reference cards, so you can play up to 4 players. And on the reference card it has the rolls from 1 to 8 and a number that's next to the roll, and that just shows you how many cards are of that roll in the actual player deck. Then we go over to the nice wooden bits, nothing special. These are just what you get when you win the favor of the princess. It comes with the rule book with the nice art on the front of it. It has a little story in the beginning that briefs you about the princess and the queen. And then the rules are spelled out pretty well. It was a nice good read. Then we go over to the roles that are displayed here, 1 through 8, guard being 1 and the princess being 8. And we'll get into the numbers and the effects later in the video when I show you how to play. Lastly, we have the bag. It's a nice velvet bag. Love Letter is sewn right into it. Shuts pretty well, makes the game extremely portable, which is one of the benefits of the game. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how the game is played. In the beginning of the game, each player receives 2 cards. But before we get into that, let's go over the roles and what the effects of the numbers and the special effects do. With the numbers, this means how close the actual roll is to the princess. The guard really isn't that close to the princess, but the king is pretty close, being a 6, but even greater than that is a countess. The princess is 8 herself, so if you're able to get the letter straight to her, you'll win. Now I'll go over what the numbers mean a little later in the game, because that is one of the game enders. But let's go over the special effects now. With the guard, you have to pick someone and name a role other than another guard, and if you get that role right, that person is out of the round. There is a player elimination in this game, but it's so short it doesn't really matter too much. People don't mind. So the guard card is kind of a gamble. With the number 2 card, it's a priest. This says look at another player's hand. So if you were able to have the priest in your hand, these 2 cards to start off with, you'd be able to look at that person's hand, know what they have, and call them out and knock them right out. So that's a decent combo to have there. This is the most dangerous of all cards, if I say so myself. It's the Baron. This card has you compare your hand, your other card, because you always have 2, to another person's hand, and whoever's number is higher, that person is knocked out of the round. Now, somebody's getting knocked out of the round when the Baron comes out. With the handmaid, she just protects you for a whole round. Nobody can do anything to you. She's 4. Now with the prince, He has got me so much in the past. I tell you what, he chooses any player and has them discard a card. Now the princess, I'm gonna skip a little bit here. If she is discarded, you lose a game. I've been wamboozled by this many a time in the past. Okay, so that is the prince. The king just has you trade with another person, and he has a value of 6. And then the countess, she's interesting. If you draw the king or the prince, you have to discard her. Now you can discard her without drawing the king or the prince and try to throw people off, but you have to discard her if you draw the king or the prince, and people get intel on that. And lastly, again, the princess has you, if you discard her, you are out of the round. So players will keep doing this process by having 2 cards in their hand, playing 1 card. You have to play 1 card, even if it's affecting you in a negative way. It has to be done. Most of the time you're going to be targeting your opponent, so that will never be the case. So, like I said, in the beginning of the game, the first player will draw 2 cards, keeping 1 in his hand, and at the beginning of his turn, drawing another card and playing 1 card out of his hand, just like he did on his first turn. So, I would do this here. I would look at these 2 cards, and then I would have to discard 1. I discard the countess because I have the princess. That's very unfortunate. People are going to know something's up with that. The next person will draw a card, and they draw the baron, and they have the guard. So they'll probably play the guard and guess, handmade on this one, lose. He has the priest. And then this card is discarded. Notice that it's always in front of you. This is not your hand. This is not your hand. This is your hand, and you just keep the cards that you played in front of you as intel for other players. And he'll take his turn. He'll get the handmade, which he'll rightfully play because that's one of the coolest cards and safest cards in the game. So turns will keep going on, and as you see, some players have favors, and once they get the last favor, I think in the 3-player game it's 3 here, and then they will marry the princess, and that's gameplay. It's quite simple, but you play round after round, and you want to play again and again. It's such a big game in such a small package. I really appreciate Love Letter. To wrap everything up, I like Love Letter, and I'm glad that it was able to get a B. And even with the without the extra credit points, it got a high C, and I just had to give it a little more. Whew! So that was my very first review, and this is where it all starts, folks. I hope you enjoyed this review because I sure in the heck enjoyed doing it, and I can't wait to see you in the next review. So with that being said, enjoy the rest of your day and all that you play. I'm Dave from GameVine. Thank you for watching. I'm out.